Wailing caverns is a must-do instance for both factions, mainly because of good loot, many quests, and crescent staff. Or bâton no croissant, according to French, I guess. Well, it's best in slot for all classes who can use two-handers, even for warriors, but if you put all the loot aside, the atmosphere of the instance is one of the best in WoW Classic. For sure, there are some tricky parts, and oh man, apparently this shit can be hard as for some people. Okay, so now you probably got my point. I had a real reason to go into Wailing Caverns with my hardcore character just this one time. So, the journey to caverns started with grabbing a group, and that took totally almost as long as 15 seconds asking in guild and general chat. I missed the first invite because I had errands to attend to. But I got quickly invited back just to find out that we were only one depth short. Okay, cool. I started to go to the direction of the instance and to get the quests above the cave entrance while waiting for the last dude. Yay, a rogue named... suspicious name, but I didn't suspect anything. Yeah, right. Well, my conscience said that something was off with this rogue. Not the name though, clearly he was a hardcore character. I mean, who would name themselves like that if you were not a hardcore player? I tried to check if the rogue was a hardcore player via the hardcore add-on, but didn't really know how to do so, so I thought maybe the party leader would check that out. And after that, I pretty much forgot all of it. You know, I already had my mindset in pushing damage buttons and was just praying for completion to get all the quests done and for not to anyone to mess up in any way. We battled our way inside and started clearing the monsters and the bosses while also doing the quests. It all felt pretty easy, but you kinda always need to stay focused because in hardcore you don't really have a room for error. For example, these raptors have an alarm mechanic that will aggro all mobs inside a long radius. And because our tank was spacing out, that's exactly what happened. At this moment I was thinking myself, oh my god, this is gonna be a wipe. Curiously, our rogue knew exactly what to do and also made the rest of the party aware of that. The whole situation was quite stressful, but actually we managed to do it quite okay and didn't have any close calls or anything like that. Gotta give thumbs up for these people for that. After this, we progressed further inside the dungeon and had a small break, and I decided to use that to inspect the people to see who are we dealing with. People's gear were fine, and I didn't see anything unexpected, except for one thing that left me pondering. I also decided to use the spare time to record the atmosphere of the instance. I mean, look at this, feel this, hear this. It's amazing. Okay, enough of the crap. Break was over and I couldn't get this one thing out of my mind. You know, I could be silent and not to mention it, but then it probably would haunt me in my dreams. So, I decided to ask it in a party chat. One thing I noticed that in the quest log you can actually see how many party members have the same quests, and all of us didn't have the same amount. That was quite odd. Again, I tried to check the add-on if the rogue was a hardcore player, but again I still didn't know how to do so, so this didn't lead me to anywhere. Also, our party leader was in such a shock that he was doing shenanigans of his own. But actually the crazy thing was that the rogue said it himself. He is not a hardcore player. And at this moment I knew we were fucked. So what was the thing I saw while inspecting the rogue? It was his weapons, Tailspike, which comes from the scum in this instance. You know, the blue lightning lizard. While our party was deciding what to do, it was pretty clear that we couldn't continue with the rogue. One option could be that we could continue this with Foreman, or the other option would be that our characters would be pretty much equal to dead. In the end, we kicked the rogue and actually got a verification via the Discord add-on that we were good to go. If you wanna search for the good side of this situation, it was that the mobs died slower and my dots were making their full damage and made me shine in the DPS meters. We had a few tricky pulls with the deviate shamblers, but luckily we all stayed alive and completed the instance to the point that we could start the end event for the last boss. Or after we found the right way. I really get lost in this instance every time in this point. It's really a maze, and I'm quite sure that a lot of people have the same problem at this point. A few days ago I saw a clip where a full group was wiping to this boss, so I was a bit scared to engage him. Luckily, our tank and healer did their top-notch job, and this was pretty easy. As mentioned earlier, there was only one thing to do, the end event. The event itself is pretty fun and has great atmosphere and good rewards, and really should not be skipped even in hardcore runs. The fight itself can be surprising for the people who do it the first time, but if you know what to do, it's merely a challenge. Of course, I'm not spoiling what happened before we got the Murloc God. After the actual instance was finished, I decided to do the rest of the quests outside solo, so I didn't have to come here again. Keep in mind that in official classic hardcore you can do multiple instance runs of the same instance, but in community hardcore only one run is allowed. After I ran out, I saw pretty weird things, and it left me wonder what could be happening in the Culture Inn. But that's a topic for another video. I handed in the shard quest and flew to Thunderbluff. After all, I was after one thing, and one thing only. Ah, this reward feels so good after that adventure. The best in slot. Button a croissant. See you again next time. Peace!